Hey guys, Tepco Cycle Repair. Today I'm working on a Troy-Bilt. This is a pressure washer. It's an 8.75 horsepower. This is going to need a carb clean. It doesn't start. It's another no start issue. I've been getting a lot of these lately because people are busting things out here to work on their yard. So today I'm recording on a GoPro Hero 4 that I got for the audio quality. So hopefully you can hear as well. And it's I got it so that I can do some moto vlogs with you guys. So let's get this started here. These are real simple. Yeah. It's a bunch of corrosion inside that carburetor. I can see it already. Got the kill switch up top here, so make sure that you just squeeze the tabs. It's got a little slot so you can get the, you don't have to disconnect it. Tank vent line pulled off right there, and here we go. So the carburetor right here, you can see all the yellow corrosion and garbage in there, like it was filled with water or something up to there. So there's no fuel cutoff on here. So again, I used the this little surgical pinch so it doesn't leak on me. Get the fuel line off. Just twist it a little bit to break the tension on it. Now a little bit of gas come out when you pull this off. All right. And then we got two Torx there, probably 10 millimeters. Going to get those two out, and we have one of the wires going to the carb there, and our linkage. All right, so these here, I'm using a Torx T30 for this inside one. It's just easier to get to. It's in there tight, but you can get it. Feels like there's Loctite on here. I can't really get a wrench to it the way just to where it's at, so that's why I got to do this. There we go. See the breather on top here, make sure that goes back on when you put the air filter housing back on. Okay, there's one. Now if you haven't done this before, make sure you get a picture of the carburetor where the linkage and everything is, because you're going to have to put it back on, and you want that all to be in the right place. So I'm going to show you the linkage up top here, then I'm going to take this off, and then we'll go over to the carburetor studio and get that dialed in. Alright, so there's our linkage right there. Alright, let me get it off and get it over to the other bench. Alright guys, so over here we have like a lot of corrosion, dust, nasty stuff. So let's go ahead and take this off, the bowl off the bottom. Which is a jet. Remember, this bolt is a jet right here. A little greenish in there. Some dirt around here. We got to clean out that hole in there. Just pull the pin. Float and needle. Look at that. The float needle is stuck in there. Doesn't want to come out. Not going to get any fuel in the bowl if that doesn't want to come out of there. It's a little tricky now. You can't just go pulling on the plastic float in order to get the float needle out, because it'll just break. Alright, so you want to try to gently get underneath it. But you know what I'm going to do instead? I'm going to throw it in my tank and warm it all up and get it all loose. And when that tank gets it warm and with the pine sol in there, all the stuff will start coming loose and I'll be able to pull it apart. The reason I like the pine sol again is because I can put all this in here, all this plastic. We're going to have no trouble with any of that stuff in the pine sol bath. So here's my pine sol bath right here. I'm going to put the heat on, let it warm up some, and then dump it in. And I'll show you what it looks like when I get it out. Alright, we're getting there. Stuff works great. A little bit longer. Alright guys, I think that's good enough in the cleaner. I'm taking it out right now. Show you what it looks like. I haven't done anything else to it yet. Now I'm just going to go and spray it down with carb cleaner. And look, remember all that corrosion in there? Gone. Alright, that's just pine sol. That's all that is. Let's see if this needle comes out now. Not yet. We'll get some carb cleaner on it, see if we can get it free. It's stuck in there. Alright, so what I'm going to do here, guys, I'm going to take the air nozzle. I'm going to stick it in the fuel inlet. See if we can get it out that way. Just a little bit of pressure on it. There you go. Popped it right out of there. Alright, so now we got to clean inside here really good. So, like we usually do, a Q-tip. I'm going to use some polishing compound, like valve lapping compound. Just put a little bit on there. And you can put this in a drill if you want and just spin it, but you usually do it by hand is enough. Good. Let's address the needle now. So this is what our needle looks like. Alright, this is what was sticking to all that green garbage right there on the side. So let's get that all cleaned up. Pay attention to this and make sure that your the rubber tip here is not messed up, which looks good. I'm going to hold the rubber tip so it doesn't get damaged, and I'm going to brush this part with just a metal brush. Make sure this is working good, and this was working good before, we knew that. You can make sure you get all that compound out of there. All these holes here, make sure you can get fluid through here. Alright, looks good again. Alright, the jet at the bottom, the bolt that holds the bowl on, we're going to make sure that that's clean here as well as here. Again, some compressed air. And what I like to do is take some WD-40 and just spray it in outside here so you don't get any corrosion or anything while it sits, in case you're not putting it together right away. Alright, so we got our float. Going to stick the needle back in there, drop the needle back in its place. Put the pin back in. And then make sure we're fully operational. You're looking good. See it moving? Nice. Okay, gasket. Look how big that gasket is. That's not going to work. Look at that. That's from swelling up from the fuel and the carb cleaner. So we're going to have to let this dry down. Shrink back down again. When it dries, it'll be fine. Alright guys, so here's the gasket. I let it sit overnight. It's going to fit back on there just fine. We'll get that to work. And I put a tech tip video up on how to handle those when they get swelled up. Make sure you look in my videos and check that out. I'm going to put a little bit of the Seal Glide on it so it stays in place. Alright, just like that. Stick it in its position right here. Alright, gasket's back on. Put the bowl in. Here, if it sticks out at any, small amount right there, just tuck it in. Alright, so we're back. Everything's back in. The gasket's back on. Let's put the nut on the bottom, which is also the jet, remember. If you get a kit, it's going to come with a new gasket here. It's going to come with a new bowl gasket. Tighten that up. Let's go throw it back on. Alright, so we got those two Torx in there. This has a gasket. Make sure that gasket is good and clean. We got to put the linkage back on, and there's the spring for this as well. Okay, so all this stuff has to go back together a certain way. Alright, sorry I had a buddy visit the shop here, so I had to stop for a second. So here we go. 1, 2. Then you got the spring here too. It's on this bracket, and the spring just hooks in. Alright, and then you also have the wire here. Now this wire here, you're going to want to put that on the outside part. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the wire, alright, and I'm putting the bolt through it, and then putting it through. You don't want to put it behind it because it'll make the carburetor sit off of the gasket surface. I'm going to get this one started so we can let go of it. Alright, and then put the other one in. I'm going to go ahead and tighten these up. Stand by. Alright, so just tightening them up here. Everything's back in place on this end. Alright. Got linkage here. Everything's working smooth. Let's put the air box on. Now the air box, don't forget you have the vent tube here. Case vent tube. You got to pay attention to that when you're putting this back on. You have the wires here. So the wires for the kill switch. These are going to want to go up on the top. Alright, just like that. You're going to just loop them through here. Push those on so they click back on again. While we have this off too, let's get the fuel line on. Fuel line and the clamp. Alright, so we have a couple lines here that we have to pay attention to. Actually, let's pull this switch off. Let me route it behind all the hoses here. So we go behind the fuel line, behind the vent. You guys have a better view here. All right, now we're going to put the vent on here. There's also a gasket on the back side of this air box, so right there. All right, case breather is on. Then we're going to put the, this is just a tank vent line right there. All right, we got these 2 1/4 inch going in here to hold it all on. Get the wrench for that. These are actually 5/16. All right, air filter back on. All right, so I'm going to fill it up with gas and bring it outside, and then we will fire it up and see how it does. I'm going to hook it up to water as well. So I'll see you guys out there. All right, guys, this is the pressure washer. Do you want to run these? You can start them up for a second just to make sure they run, but don't, you don't want to run the water pump dry or anything. So I got water hooked up to it now, and whenever I work on customer stuff, I like to use it a little bit and make sure that it works good, so when they get it back, they have no problems. Make sure your oil everything is good before you do anything, and then this is an easy start, so there's no choke, there's no primer bulbs. You just pull it; it should start. Let's have a power switch. Alright guys, so that's it, it's done. Just needed a carb clean. They're not too hard. You saw what was going on with the bowl gasket and how we fixed that. It's real simple. This thing's running great now. It's a light duty, it's good for light duty stuff, but it's running good, smooth, governor's kicking in good. It's good to go, job done. Move on to the next one. Hopefully you like this, guys, and helps you out. Please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for further notifications. Until next time, guys, this is TEPCO Cycle Repair. Peace.